This week on Stay Out of My Fridge.
Honestly, it's like my underwear. I probably keep them around a lot longer than they need to.
When it comes to underwear, man, there's nothing greater than putting on a new pair of socks, a clean, fresh pair of socks. I mean, not that you put on dirty socks, but a nice, fluffy new pair of socks. Like it gives a man some confidence.
That way you don't get the nipple chafing. That's some of the worst.
Ooh, especially in the thick South Pole letters on their shirts. That shit as a kid still haunts me. I had no idea how old it was. If you would have told me cops in the 80s, I would have 100% believed you. I have to look up a slang term because I was notified from the school today that they're banning a word next year, or just a phrase. Have you ever heard of the phrase skibbity toilet?
Knock, who's there? It's the podcast you adore. Stay out of my fridge. We're back, ready to explore. Got a tale to tell, gonna make you laugh, gonna make you smile. So buckle up tight, it's gonna be alright. We're diving deep into your fridge where secrets hide. Mysteries of leftovers, the wonders inside. From moldy sandwiches to ancient yogurt jars, we cover the truth with no holds barred. Stay out of my fridge, it's time to raid. We're bringing the laughs, no need to be afraid. Lock up your midnight snacks, stash them away. Get ready for the fun, let's seize the day. Hooray!
That's what she said. Oh, wait, we're live. Man, if these backstage walls could talk, you'd probably be even more entertained. And what's up, everybody? This is the Stay Out of My Fridge podcast. And look at this. 1, 2, 3. We all made it. Voice you're hearing, it's me. It's Matt. It's Beard Laws. Joining me, as always, Brandon J. McDermott and Yuban whacking off. What's up, fellas?
Not a whole lot. Just recovering, man. Memorial Day. When you get older, these extra long weekends, they're not as nice as you think, because then you get to the back end and you're like, I had too much time off. I turned off the switch for too long, and now I got to flip it back on. And there's still 5 days of work to do in 4 days next week, you know?
Mm-hmm. I was having that moment. I was like, man, I was camping all weekend. Not that you guys overly care, but one of the best feelings ever is being able to come home and poop in your own toilet compared to, wherever I was having to poop. But the second, probably one of the worst feelings ever, besides, having to hold the pee while you have towing a camper, knowing you can't just pull over. And that was brutal. Is having to set the goddamn alarm for work after a couple of days off. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yuban's like, yeah, I had to work a holiday, so you guys can suck it.
Well, it's my first day back from, being off for about 5 or 6 days. So that sucked. But cool thing is, though, is everyone I'm responding to, I'm like, they're not going to respond back because they're off. So it's kind of cool. So I get to be like, hey, bitch, I'm all caught up now until tomorrow. So, but you know what, though? I'll take a vacation over a 3-day holiday any day. That shit was nice. I got a little color. You can't tell. I'm still pasty as fuck, but I got a little color.
I stay still there. But, so I'm glad the vacation went well. I think everybody wants to know, how's the foot? Because you mentioned that you were going to swim anyways. You didn't care. And, if the ocean took you away, it is what it is. But
I am no longer even using the boot. I feel confident. Am I probably going to re-injure it? Yes.
Yeah.
But it feels good. The swelling went down. The color is back to almost normal. I feel good. I feel great.
Still drinking water?
I am, yes.
Wow.
Look at you. A little bit of me just wants to ask, for the boys, can you show it to us?
You want to see this cankle?
Too?
You want to see this cankle? There's still a little bit of swelling here, but there's a...
Oh, I can see a little bit of that color.
So, but yeah, it's...
high tops, huh?
Do what now?
You got the high tops, huh?
Are they the high top socks?
Are they high top? I thought.
No, they're supposed to be no show. I just kind of pulled up.
Oh, okay.
These things, honestly, it's like my underwear. I probably keep them around a lot longer than they need to.
Yeah. How big does the hole need to be on the sock for you to get rid of it?
If it interferes with the heel or one of the toes, if it separates one of the toes and it feels like it's going to cut off the toe, immediate no. But if it's in the middle to where I can't feel it, that shit can go all the way up into the edge of the toes to the edge of the heel. It wouldn't faze me.
Now, what are you talking about with the sock?
Holes in them, like just naturally worn out socks that end up getting holes in them. That doesn't happen.
No, dude, you get a hole in the toe, or in a place where you're putting a lot of pressure. Because I got big wide feet, and so if there's a hole, and no, Any bit of a chance of like a blister or something, I'm crying like a bitch.
Yeah, blisters suck. For me though, it's the same. Like if I can't put the sock on and not have the toes all the way go there without getting into the little bit of a hole first, it's got to go. But I bet you about 25% of my socks have holes in them at some point, and I'm still rocking them.
And you talked about this, Yuban, too. When it comes to underwear, man, like there's nothing greater than putting on a new pair of socks, a clean, fresh pair of socks. I mean, not that you put on dirty socks, but a nice, fluffy new pair of socks. Like it gives a man some confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Yep.
You know, the missus, I told her, I was like, hey, can you get me some new socks for vacation? And she's like, I'm getting everybody some socks. I was like, yeah, give me some. And she's like, any in particular? I was like, just the normal ones I get, you know. And she came back home with black ankle socks, the ones that like go up halfway up the ankle. And I go, huh, that's a bold choice. And I was like, we're gonna be wearing shorts. And I was like, black ankle socks? She's like, oh, what do you fucking wear? I was like, no show white socks. I was like, is that's what I've always wore? And she's like, oh. And then we saw the TikTok debate where people are saying, hey, Gen Zers are saying it is uncool and it's old as fuck to wear no show or ankle socks. It's tube socks or nothing.
Really? What is
Bam,
this, 70s?
But the thing with us is like
That's
we
what
think
I'm
of
saying.
tube socks, and I'm thinking 2 or 3 primary color dark stripes around the top of it. Those aren't cool. That's 1970s, 1980s, man.
Like the guy from Teen Wolf?
Yeah.
It's made a return because everyone's saying, hey, we're the old fucks now. They're like, oh, you're showing a lot more of your leg. Lame. It's like, what? It's like, it's the reverse op. Like, no, don't. The only time you wear long socks, dress socks. You know, if I'm wearing some khakis, I'll wear some long socks. But
Look,
that's it.
I may be a pretty hefty guy, and I am pretty hefty. One of the proudest things on my body are my calves, and I'm going to show them off. Just what it is.
See, I'm supposed to be wearing oh fuck, what are they called now? I have my long socks for my varicose vein on this leg. So I'm not wearing fucking shorts and cardiovascular socks.
Yeah. See, I rock the socks, but I don't know what they're actually called. Are they like I don't think they're crew socks. The ones that aren't quite as tall as the tube socks, but they're taller than the ankle. They go up a couple of inches over the ankle. I don't know what they're called. I rock those. Like I got some black Nike ones. I know. I wear them with the shorts. I don't give a shit.
See, it's different times because now even my kids too, they're like, yeah, Dad, the no show retro. And I'm like, retro? What the fuck? Tube socks are retro. Like you were saying, like 70s. Like, no. I was like, my grandpa went outside with tube socks to mow the lawn. Like that shit's, get the fuck out of here.
Since we're an educational show, here's the 14 apparently different type of socks from the Fashionist the Fashionista.com. Toe cover or mute? That's a hard no for me.
Yeah,
No.
no, I don't know why you would just do those. That's odd.
That seems like a dancer.
Yeah, or unless you were wearing heels or something like that, I guess.
You been ever wear heels?
I have actually wore heels a few times for like dress ups. I was pretty much in drag and I got third place. Got robbed.
Hey. Wow.
Got robbed.
That's probably why you got weak ankles. Too much
That's
time
honestly
on
what
those
it
heels.
is. It's gotta be. I would never make it down a runway back and forth. I'm too fragile.
So you rock the invisible no-show there, the next one?
No.
No?
I'm more of an extra low cut.
Okay.
So I've got a pair of shoes that allow me to wear the invisible no-shows, and then I got another pair where if I wear those invisible no-shows, they'll start cutting the back of my ankle, so I have to wear the low cuts.
You talking about like your boat shoes, like your Hey Dudes?
They're kind of like that. I don't know. My friends calls them my bowling shoes because they kind of look like bowling shoes.
Yeah,
They're blue, but they have like a brown tongue, and it's the nicest shoe I've ever had. And I would never normally wear it, but I call it my work shoe. I get to wear shorts, and it's nice.
Hell yeah.
Back in, not to be an old guy, but back in my day, if you wore anything higher than the low cut, they might call you some very unfavorable words.
And in the 90s,
Oh, yeah,
it
you
was
were
okay to
definitely
say.
a loser if you did that. Yeah.
They would question your sexuality, even depending on how high your sock went.
It wasn't even an insult, though. They weren't questioning anything. They were just saying it right there.
Yeah.
I don't like the name of this next one. The Pedlo. It kind of sounds like it could be pedo.
Mm,
I feel like I have those socks.
Is that like ped for like pedestrian, maybe?
now in minivan white.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Quarter anklets. I think I rock some of the mid calf crews. I think that's maybe what we're going with. That I tend to rock. I mean, unless you're playing soccer, would you rock? Why would you have socks over your knee?
What's this loose one? This one, that's the one
Yeah,
that's confusing. Like, what is,
just for your shins and calves. No feet. I
is
don't
it
know.
like a field goal kicker? Is that something like they would wear? The ones that used to go over there without the shoe?
Yeah, it makes me feel uncomfortable, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's kind of like the people that wear the sleeve, just one sleeve when they're playing basketball for some reason. And I've seen the
Oh,
people that wear them on the opposite arm that they shoot with. Don't know
think
how
about
that
it.
makes a lot of sense.
It's actually brilliant because they're all made over the knee, and then once they cut off, they're like, now we've got these no shows. What the fuck are we gonna do with this knee to calf? Sell them as looses. You know what I mean? And so fucking, they're not wasting anything. It's probably my grandma's company.
Kind of like when you cut the sleeves off the t-shirts, and then you can maybe wear them as like a headband, or maybe wrap it around your arm. I mean, I know a lot of people. Actually, was it Burley? Somebody recently was rocking a sleeve to a shirt that they just cut off, and I was like, "Oh, headband guy." Like, yeah, I just cut it off my shirt.
That screams Burley, 100%. Yep.
I don't know. It was either Burley or it was Chip from Three Overs Daily. It was one of those guys. Pretty sweet.
Now,
Look at this educational show socks.
my grandma used to reuse my grandfather's like old wife beaters and stuff like that for oil rags. And one time I grabbed one, and it was a pair of his whitey tighties. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I hope that's a previous oil stain. What is that?
I love how everywhere you still hear it, and they're called wife beaters.
It's not very PC, I guess, now anymore.
Or just beaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Somebody should record themselves walking into like a Walmart or a store and be like, "Hey, what aisle are the wife beaters in?" Just to get reactions from people that are working now. I bet you I know probably almost everybody in my area would be like, "Oh, just go to G37 or whatever it is." That's where they are.
In gray, black, and white.
Did you go through a phase where you rocked them?
No. No. Now, did I have South Pole stuff? Because my grandma was a very avid J.C. Penney shopper and would get like the discount shit. And she's like, "You're a husky boy. Here's this." And I'm like, look at it. It's very shiny and just thick letters, and it's South Pole. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure gonna fit in rural Missouri with South Pole stuff on. I can't wait. Yes, with my jean shorts. City Slicker was the name.
so do you guys wear undershirts?
I do.
I do if I'm wearing a polo, but usually no.
Really? I've been undershirts since I was in high school, and it's got to be an A shirt, as they call it, or a beater.
Oh, I rarely go with the beaters or the A shirt. I just grab it. Sometimes I'll just wear another shirt. Like I'll grab one on there, and I don't know what it is. I like the extra one. I don't know if it's because I like to tuck the other one in, so that way if maybe like I go to bend over or something, my ass crack isn't hanging out because nobody wants to see my hairy ass crack. But I don't know, it's just a comfort thing. Even playing sports when I was younger, I tried to wear that way you don't get the nipple chafing. That's some of the worst.
Ooh, especially in them thick South Pole letters on their shirts. That shit as a kid still haunts me.
So I looked up real quick. I just put, how did tank tops get the name wife beater? And according to the Evening Standard, standard.co.uk, it says some theories date back as far as medieval times when the thin chainmail undershirt that soldiers wore were called WAIF beaters, waif beaters, while others pin it to the 1947 headline that called a Detroit man who had beaten his wife to death wearing a stained undershirt a wife beater. Leave it to Detroit.
I thought it came from the show Cops from the 80s. And it was always a dude that was wearing one of those that was
apparently a couple of headlines just from doing that keeps referring to the 30s and 40s from the Detroit headline of the guy that beat his wife to death wearing one.
Well, I clearly was wrong. That's interesting.
I had no idea how old it was. If you would have told me cops in the 80s, I would have 100% believed you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm still buying it. Like, what exactly is a wife beater? A wife beater, and they spell it a couple of different ways, is a slang term for a man who commits domestic violence, particularly against a wife or a female partner. It can also refer to a sleeveless shirt. So, yeah.
Now, I have to look up a slang term because I was notified from the school today that they're banning a word next year, or I guess a phrase. You guys probably heard of this. If you've, well, maybe Brandon, your kids may not be old enough. Have you ever heard of the phrase "skibbity toilet"?
Skibbity toilet. Let's look at it.
It's so fucking stupid.
Why do
But
kids say skibbity toilet? Refers to a meme that started from a YouTube series about an army of toilets who try to take over the world. The
Yeah.
plot line surrounding skibbity toilets is that these toilets that have men's heads coming out of them are at war with a cameraman who are men with cameras for heads.
mm-hmm. It's the
Could you
dumbest
imagine
fucking
being
thing.
these principals trying to fucking do some stupid shit like that?
So
What?
they're banning them from saying "skibbity toilet" anymore. So it's an automatic 3-day suspension out of school if you say "skibbity toilet." And I was like,
What?
yeah, that's what I was like, what? And mind you, yeah. So this guy, so the audio to this was that "skibbity, yes, yes, skibbity." It's so stupid shit. I always hear it every time it's on YouTube. If I can hear it when with the kids' tablets and shit. But
Is it because the
uh,
YouTube channel is Da Fuck Boom?
I have no idea.
DAFUK. So maybe it gets correlated and there's a whole bunch of people going, oh, what's that from again? Da Fuck Boom. Why don't
This
they ban that?
That's what. So it's wild because there has been the principal is Mormon, and I believe that
Ah.
plays a huge effect in some of his policies. They don't have middle school dances. They don't even have anything in high school until prom. So until you're a junior and senior, there's no dancing allowed whatsoever because he said it's inappropriate. I'm like, what is this? Footloose? I'm like, come on, get Kevin Bacon
I
over
always-
here, and he's gonna whoop your ass. Like, what the fuck?
I'm-
Get two.
No, I was just gonna say I'm always worried about those dudes or people who are like super conservative in that sense, and I don't mean conservative in the political sense. I mean in the sense of like
no dancing or singing of songs, including Fleetwood Mac, because the lead singer is a witch, or AC/DC because they talk about the devil.
like those kinds of people. Fuck those people.
Yesterday was Stevie Nicks' birthday, so shout out to Stevie Nicks. Happy
Hey,
birthday,
shout out
girl.
Stevie. Yay.
Which
But yeah, this guy, he just like, no, it's inappropriate. You know, middle schoolers shouldn't be dancing. And I'm like, what the fuck? It should just, he's so weird about everything. But so he's
Dude.
banning this. But so there was a young boy who snuck into the girls' locker room. He received 1 day out of school suspension. Another kid who dropped a racial word on the bus also got 1 day suspension. But if you say skibbity toilet, you get 3. What the fuck is going on?
So is this something your kids say quite a bit? Like
Especially
if it
now.
slips out, are you going to be like super pissed because you have to be kind of like you got kicked out of school, or how are you going to play this? You've
my
thought about it.
God. I think I'm gonna have to go meet up with him. Like, hey, listen, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, what rule is this? Like, what is this? You Mormon fuck. Like, what are you doing? But no, I will be
That's
disappointed in my
racist.
kids because they know that they're not supposed to say it. But ever since they've seen the letter come out today, the only words that's come out of their mouths have been skibbity toilet, and they're like, oh, skibbity. I'm like, break that habit right fucking now.
Get it out of your head.
it's the Streisand effect. Just don't do this, and now we want to do nothing but this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't press
Yep.
the red button. Fuck, what's the red button do? Now I'm obsessed with it.
Or you're in the locker room. Hey, don't look at me. I'm getting naked. And then everybody goes, huh?
Or if you tell your kids, come here, don't look at the screen, cover your eyes. No, I want to see. What am I missing?
Exactly. That's how it was. Whenever I was a kid, I'm just like, what up, Jamie Lee Curtis's titties?
Oh, Jesus.
Can I say something?
Yeah, do that.
Absolutely.
I know you don't like people actively putting down beard brands on your show, but I'm not going to name them, but there's a
Okay.
beard brand that has no association with you, FYI,
Mhm.
that I bought this on my own on Amazon, which is probably dumb, who has a mustache wax that is extreme hold. This shit is so, like, it's like, how do I like I've got it here on my finger, and now like it doesn't melt between my fingers. Like it's like still,
Oof.
it's just like there it is, it's still there. It's like not melting.
I recognize that tin.
So do I, and I saw like the
Smells
consistency
good.
of it. I'm
Yeah.
thinking I know. Is it kind of like they don't tell lies and they probably don't use electricity?
There's an NFL team with a mascot with the name in the.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, I was thinking something different as well.
Were you thinking
Interesting.
the same thing I was thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
That tin
Like
looked exactly
Coolio.
like it.
Coolio would like to sing.
Yes.
Or Weird Al.
Weird Al.
Would
Yeah,
sing a Coolio
absolutely.
song about it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
Honestly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Different. Yeah. Different consistency than
I'm
I've
thinking of
seen.
football teams. I'm like, Bills
I'm
wax. Dolphin jizz.
Mm-hmm. Panther come. Speaking of football, did you guys see how bad the number 1 overall draft pick is doing and actually is getting benched in OTAs?
Oh, it's amazing.
I
It's
love
amazing.
it.
I love every minute of
Especially
it.
now that Justin Fields is on a team that I root for and is like, I'm not sitting back and letting Russell Wilson get this job. Like, I'm competing for it. And it's like, hell yeah.
As you
Quarterback
should.
battle, baby.
Dude, that would be the biggest fuck you. Would be for Fields to take over and just take the Steelers to the fucking playoffs.
Wouldn't that be wild?
Oh, God.
I'd say meet the Bears at some point in the Super Bowl, but it ain't going to happen.
Do you guys still have Matt Canada?
No, they got rid of him during the season last year.
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
What an awful coordinator.
And they got rid of him the first game after getting rid of him. Obviously, transition period. And it was rough. But then towards the end of the year, they were putting up numbers, even with Pickett. Then Pickett gets hurt. And then old boy comes in, has a great couple of, weeks. And then they get rid of every quarterback that they had last year.
Because Pickett's in Philly now, right?
Yeah, fuck Philly.
Fuck Philly.
Jesus. See, this is what's so wild to me, dude, is like you used to, and I know this isn't an NFL show, but you used to draft an NFL quarterback in the first round, the first 15 picks, and you would stick with him for 3 or 4 or 5 years, even if it was like he's not doing the greatest. You wouldn't like ship him off after 2 years. It seems like he was only there for 2 years. Am I wrong?
Fields?
No.
Oh, Pickett. Pickett was, that was his second year.
Oh, I thought he was like 3.
Like, that's wild to me. Like, that is just wild, man. Now, back in my day, you know.
Well, I saw a meme a little while ago, too, that showed that it said that Caleb Williams or whatever is going to be a Steeler within 3 years because he had Mitch Trubisky played for X amount of years, flopped in Chicago, ended up in Pittsburgh. And then now Justin Fields, a couple of years, Pittsburgh. So they're saying, all right, well, I guess Caleb's going to end up heading out that way.
Dude, the Browns kept Tim Couch for 5 years.
Yes. Yes, they did. Yeah, Kenny Pickett was drafted in the 2022 draft with the 20th pick in the first round.
And Tim Couch only had more touchdowns and interceptions his rookie year. so it's not
Listen
like
to these
better at all.
2023 regular season stats from old Kenny Pickett. 2,070 yards, ranked 29th. 6 touchdowns, tied 37th. 4 interceptions, tied 70th. QBR, 38.1. 27th.
So what was the problem? Was it just a bunch of wishful thinking? Dan Marino, second coming, like Pittsburgh? What was?
I really don't know. Yeah, he played for Pitt, knew the stadium. He had some moments. They thought he was athletic, smart, this, that. I don't know what happened. Maybe he wasn't a locker room guy. Maybe this, maybe that. Who knows? But didn't work out.
Daniel Jones was another one that I was just like, I never did see anything with that guy. And I'm like, okay. But, if it's not, if it's a division rival wanting to spend all that money on him, you're like, go for it.
Yep.
You know what's funny is, as a Broncos fan, I wanted Daniel Jones out of college.
Yeah. I mean, he had a good season.
Yeah.
But the weird thing with the NFL, too, is you get these pretty good quarterbacks that go to really shitty teams. Most of these shitty teams are shitty because why? They don't have a line. You put a guy, Daniel Jones, Barkley wasn't doing as much. He's pretty athletic, getting hurt. They didn't have a line. Not sticking up for Daniel Jones by any means, but you see a lot of good guys that just get the shit kicked out of them, get hurt.
Yeah.
Because, they're running for their lives.
I don't know how
they're in
you
cops
go
in the
from-
80s.
Right. I don't know how you go from 24-12 touchdown to interception ratio your freshman year, your rookie year, to never touching 20 touchdowns again. And his QBR was never over 62, so it's like not like he was great, but
You got to think too, the analytics. Not only everybody's always shits on baseball for over analytics, over football. Every major sport is like that. They figure these guys out pretty quickly. You know, I mean, that's why you never see something like the Wildcat and stuff like that happens. These guys figure this shit out. There are some big brains in football.
Yeah.
And some idiots.
That's what's so great about it is that there's no parity. Like there's so much it's such an even playing field.
Yeah.
That it literally is a chess match. It literally is, okay, is there going to be a moment where a player makes a dumb mistake and it's going to cost the team? A la that, and I'm thinking back 20 years because that's when I was more in the NFL. A la that playoff game, that Giants center who fucked up the field goal snap. You remember that? And the Giants missed the field goal, and there was it didn't even miss the field goal. They messed up the snap, so the guy had to he had to throw it, and then there was a question of whether or not there was a defensive pass interference, but he was an eligible receiver. It was just this wild fucking thing. But that is why they lost. But you have a game where it's like 10-7 or 24-17 or 24-21, and it comes down to, we were 6 of 7 on third downs, and that's really what did it for us this week. We were able to convert, It's wild to me, like how much of a chess match it is, and how much of it is really good play calling versus really bad play calling, or how much of a quarterback can thread the needle on a third down 2 inches away from being an interception, right? But was able to drop it in the basket and it's a touchdown, right? So it's wild. That's what makes the game so fun, but also so frustrating as a Broncos.
Or you get a stupid ref that just wants to be seen on national TV and they make some bonehead play, which it blows my mind because it's not like high school and, you know what I mean, sports where you're short on refs, at least in my area. You can't find any goddamn refs. Nobody wants to do it because parents are assholes, fans are fucking nuts, where you miss a call. You know what I mean? There are how many refs on a football field? There are how many guys on a baseball field now? It's like these, and now they have replay. And everybody shits on it, but the game got so quick that some of these humans cannot see this shit with the human eye. You know what I mean? And I'm all about getting the right call in the right time. And I think they did a good job with it.
I wonder. Go ahead, Yuban.
I just when are we going to get rid of Angel Hernandez? I forget the other one's names now. I'm having a brain fart, but going to AI. Like eventually, are they going to start doing AI play calling? Like, I mean, how far is AI going to take over the sports world?
They did. They've been testing robotic umpires in the minor leagues and stuff. I know, at least for baseball, and I guess it's still years away. It hasn't had a lot of luck. At least that's what I thought I heard. Which I don't. In baseball world, everything is records and this and that. Like it's such a America's pastime. Like I'm cool with leaving human umpires. That means ball or strike. The strike zone doesn't change. Foul ball, fair out. Like safer out. They should be able. Any human should be able to do that. And they make pretty good damn money doing it.
So my buddy showed me this, and I can't remember what the fuck it was called. But there is you can go to umpires games right afterwards, and you can see how much each call they made.
Yep. Oh yeah, they have their own rating system.
Even beyond that, to where you can see the strike zone and how there was a ball that was right here that was if it's red, it shows that really changed the game because that instead of a 3-2 strikeout, it was a walk turned into a 2-run homer instead of that kind of thing. How much that missed call or blown call turned into. He showed me this. So analytics are nuts even for umpires, and it's wild to me. It's out of this world.
I love it. As a stat nerd.
Max Scherzer or whatever was saying that umpires, if they struggle, it should be like the players. They should have to go down and umpire minor leagues and stuff and work their way back up to be able, if they become efficient enough again, to go back into the majors. But
I don't know the ins and outs, so I can't speak to that. But I definitely think that they're at least on the NFL side, you'll know of if there's a big call that's blown, that team, that not just that ref, that team doesn't make it to the playoffs. They don't get to call big games. And And I'm sure there if there's not, and looking at the ratings of the umpires just now, Angel or Angel Hernandez, whatever his name is, he's middle of the road. He's not even that bad when it comes to actual ratings. And I've seen his calls; they're terrible. Don't get me wrong, but so it just goes to show you there are some that are even worse. But to your point, you were talking about hand-eye coordination, not just hand-eye coordination, but being able to see things. I wonder what kind of training these guys get in all leagues, in all sports, to be able to see like a difference of like a Rorschach test of like, bam, you get to see something on the screen for 2 seconds, bam, what color was the guy's, you know what I mean, like kind of a thing, like how much can you actually see something in a quick moment, like does that play into the training, right? I don't know, I'm guessing and I'm hoping, but
Yep.
Or you get to like watch not Madden, but you get to watch a replay of a game and you have to make the call. Was that pass interference? Would you throw the flag? You know what I mean?
Especially with VR. I have to imagine they would utilize VR and stuff like that for training. I pulled up something right now, and this was something by Fangraphs, which I love. That site dives deep into some shit. In 2008, the umpire, and this is just for baseball, their accuracy was 81.3% on their calls altogether. And as of 2000, it looked like 22 or 23, it was up to 92.4%. So they're saying, hey, in 15 years, if they can prove 11%, I feel like, it can continue to go there. And it was, balls and strikes. And I think the one thing, and I'm not sure, but a reference in this one is umpire scorecards, I think is what you were potentially referring to, umpirescorecards.com or something like that.
And if they went to like robotic umpiring stuff, like who gets to kick who out, Like say, like if you're the head coach, like, yeah, you metal piece of shit. does that get to kick you out?
Here's umpire scorecards. This was from 5/26, which at the time of the recording was the day before. It broke down this top one: Alfonso Marquez, Detroit versus Toronto at Detroit. It was 14-11. It breaks down the pitch count, everything, and gives them. I think he was 90.5% accurate.
And you can click on over to the left of the date, I believe.
Yep.
It'll show you even like further. Am I wrong on that, or
it doesn't let me click? I can click the date and click the guy, but look at you can here's the most accurate one just from yesterday. This person was 99.4, and this was on April 5th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alex Tosi or Tassi, LA versus. This is wild. I'm going to leave this tab open so I can check that out. That is maybe it's one of those. Yeah, maybe you have to get exclusive content or something, like it's a spicy page. I'm not going to pay to see the umpires in there. I wonder if there's an umpire OnlyFans.
Angel Hernandez. He's between 90 and 96% on his last so many games.
It's pretty good.
That's not bad.
It's pretty good.
Now that said, it doesn't matter. You miss one call. If it's a big call, people are going to remember that one call.
It's Detroit. Who cares? Angels should be just thankful that it wasn't in the 40s and the guy answers the door in a tank top shirt and kills him, because apparently that would make headlines.
And also, I think it's a little easier. I think more now, and we'll get to understand more, because like the strike zone isn't just a square; it's a 3D thing, right?
Yeah.
Right? So it's a little easier to say, okay, that was a strike, or that was a ball. But when you're talking about a football play, that or even a was the guy safe or out? That's probably a little more. Yeah, I think we can agree he's out. But if it's a play, if it's a pass in football, and we're talking and arguing pass interference, that's not as cut and dry. What you would consider pass interference, or what I would consider pass interference, if the Broncos play the Steelers and it's the AFC Championship game, and it comes down to the final call and the Steelers are driving, and old Mr. Justin Fields drops a dime, and it's broken up on the play, even though it was a great pass, whatever, but the Broncos receiver had his hand on the Broncos defender had his hand on the receiver's chest. You're going to be like, hey, wait a minute. No, fuck that. He's not allowed to arm bar him. He has to allow him chance. And I'll be like, no, that's just a good play, right? It just goes into like what you see really is kind of what you believe. It's like the whole JFK thing, If you're going into it thinking it's automatically a conspiracy, you're probably more apt to say, oh, there's no way. See back and to the left. back and to the left. When in reality, what you really understand, if you're a medical person, and I've seen several studies on this, is that when you get shot in the brain, your whole entire system of nerves in your body strike out. And so what happened is when he got shot, he went like this because all of his muscles, all of his nerves shot out. And so that's why he got shot back into the left, because his body tried to stiffen up. And that's kind of what makes sense. I know that I went off into the woods there for a little bit.
No, that's okay. You know, I did want to bring this up while you were here. I mean, we are not that we have to, because we are stay out of the fridge. We just talk about whatever we want. But there was something that was on the internet that I know you've seen. It's a couple of weeks old, but apparently there's a way that you can cut a sandwich that is breaking the internet. And I wanted to see your guys. Brandon's already shaking his head. He's like, I don't even see the goddamn picture. I've seen this. I've talked about it probably.
Well, I don't find much that offends me anymore. It takes a lot to get me mad. I think this is brilliant. I do think it falls down to the same thing of like, do what you want to do, cut your sandwich how you want to cut it, but in the sense of every bite is probably going to have crust in it with this cut. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with this at all. Now, if I'm trying to split a sandwich in threes, this is the perfect thing I'm always going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But this will also break my children's mind if I cut a sandwich like this. Cut it in triangles like a club sandwich. That's the way I have always done it. Probably always will.
Which piece are you eating last?
The top one.
Top.
Yep. Okay, see? You
Because
guys...
I think we could all pretty much agree the top one's the best piece.
Oh, for sure.
100%. Yeah, which one are you going first, though?
Ooh, probably right, because it seems bigger.
I don't know if that necessarily matters, but I think this plays to cutting a sandwich like a triangle is more optically enjoyable. Because that top piece is the best piece. I don't know. There's just something about the trapezoid that really...
What is the sandwich?
I don't know, but it needs some bacon. I don't
Is
see
it grilled
bacon
ham and
sticking
cheese? I see it looks like ham and probably some mayonnaise. I'm not overly seeing the cheese, and it's definitely something that was grilled.
You know, people would argue with you if there's any meat on it, it's not a grilled cheese anymore. It's a melt.
Oh,
I don't
Touche.
care. I'm just saying.
yeah.
Either way, I would fuck this sandwich up. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it looks good.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried the mayo versus butter on your grilled cheese sandwiches yet?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been team mayo for decades on it. It was something I think that a grandparent did, and I've always been team mayo.
It's more savory, more crispy. There's just something about it.
Now, if somebody was to put them like to make each one of them without me just kind of overly paying attention, not just we're having a conversation, just maybe snacking on a grilled cheese, would I instantly know which one was mayo and butter? I don't think so. But if I examined and really put my mind to it, I think I know. But we have a kid in the house, hates mayonnaise. Make grilled cheese with mayonnaise. Never once has been able to pick up and be like, did you make this with mayonnaise? This is disgusting.
It's so much more convenient. Just grab the mayo, slam that shit on the bread. You don't have to worry about the butter being too cold or anything. It won't. It's easy. The mayonnaise is the easiest way to go.
Is there like one sandwich that you thought that you came up with that it was like the most brilliant thing in the entire world that never hit the internet, sober or buzzed? Even if it's a thing now.
So I recently made, I was telling Matt this, I smoked some meatloaf yesterday. 4 pounds of sausage and beef mixed together with club crackers instead of, I used to do, I don't use breadcrumbs, but I used to do pork rinds, which really work well. In
Oh,
meatloaf.
shit.
But I stuffed it with mushrooms, chopped up sauteed mushrooms and onions, and then cream cheese. It was really good. I haven't tried it yet with this one, but I used to do a meatloaf and Swiss cheese and peanut butter sandwich. Now,
Jail.
it's fucking good. It's so good. It is so good. And if I'm feeling really crunchy, no pun intended, I'll throw some jelly on that bitch.
Ooh.
Well, what's the difference between putting, ketchup on your on your meatloaf, and it like bakes, and it gets to be like a sweet gelatin, basically. So the jelly doesn't throw me off too much.
And people do the peanut butter and jelly burgers and shit like that. I love them. I've
the
tried
same
them.
thing.
It's fantastic.
That is true. That is true. I mean, mine was just the peanut butter and Funyun sandwich. I don't know if anybody's been too stupid enough to try that yet, but
Oh, I haven't had Funyuns in years. I'm gonna have to try that. It's a good one.
I'm taking credit for that sandwich. Fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I never created anything because I only had basic things to work with growing up. So it was always just fried bolognas and whatever chips we had usually. You know, sometimes you get fancy, and I guess it would be a melt, but a grilled fried bologna. A buddy of mine claims that he invented the world's greatest sandwich. It was a triple decker fried bologna sandwich, and he would eat it before sports games. So it was like a 3-layered sandwich with just bologna and mustard. And that was his thing. That's pretty good. I used to love making like pizza, I guess, melt sandwiches. Just basic, just cheese, pepperoni, grill it like a grilled cheese. Fucking love it.
I love buying those cheap like Totino's pizzas. I always call them Tostinos, but they're not Tostinos. They're Totitos or Totino's pizzas, and churching them up with like chopped up onions, even like canned fish sometimes, like sardines, and just throw that.
Yeah, I'm
on
not
there.
gonna fuck with that.
You have to like canned fish, of
Yeah,
course.
I'm gonna let you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you keep that one.
You had me at the onions, lost me with the fucking canned fish. I can't. Now, I do the jail nachos every once in a while. My kids will look at me because I'm getting like the Doritos out with some like shredded cheese, and like, what are you doing? I was like, nachos, and they're like, no, there's like no meat on there. I was like, don't need any, just need cheese, chips, and a little bit of salsa. And they're like, that can't be healthy for you. I was like, look at me. Does it look like I give a fuck about my health? No, it's convenience. I'm gonna have nachos in 5 minutes. Fuck off.
I used to buy a bag of the chili cheese Fritos. Take a can of chili and some like Velveeta, not Velveeta, but like the jar of
Like the-
cheese.
Yep.
Pour that bitch in there.
Ooh, I do love, like you kind of mentioned, just being able to take anything cheap and elevate. I think if I was to ever, which I'm not going to, I barely do any content anymore, but I think if I was to get going, and I know people do this all the time, I think that would have been a fun one to do. But like I was chatting with Burley, and like he used to do food content, a lot of barbecue stuff like that. Had a really good thing. I think at one point he even had his own like rub and sauces. Like he was doing pretty good with it, and he just said, you know what? I got sick of eating my food cold. You know, there's always a thing. You spend all day cooking it. You got to take pictures, record this, do this. And he goes, I just got fucking sick of it. And I'm like, I could see that. But I think we do that all the time at the house. Grab a cheap pizza, elevate it. Take maybe just a box mac and cheese, elevate it. You know, it's just, I think that's a fun thing. Probably the way that we all grew up. Not a lot of money.
That's right. That's right. Spice up these dollar store snacks.
I do want to definitely cut one of the kids' sandwiches like this. They're always like team diagonal cut, and if I cut it any other way, it's kind of like I don't know if they're gonna eat the sandwich because I cut it the other way. It's like, eat the goddamn thing. It's the same amount of sandwich.
If my fat ass decides to make 2 sandwiches for myself, I will cut one in half and then one diagonal. Don't know why. Probably abused as a child. Don't know. Don't remember. But I will never cut them the same way.
We ordered pizza a little bit ago, and it throws me off every single time. I've ordered pizza from this place, but they ask you, do you want it round or square? And I'm never prepared. And I'm like, whatever you decide. What? I'm like, yeah, you just pick. Surprise me. So, like, do you guys have an instant answer? Do you have one that you're gonna pick?
Round.
What was the question?
So if they like, you'll order a pizza. Yeah, I want a large pepperoni pizza, this and that, and they'll be like, all right, how do you want your pizza, round or square?
Oh, round. I mean, unless it's the
Unless
Detroit
it's
style.
thin. See, unless it's, I guess it depends on what type. I like Domino's thin, but I do like how they cut it in squares.
Okay, it's not quite deep dish thickness, but it's just a touch maybe bigger than that. And the only reason that I go that route sometimes is, one, because I hate choices, and that's the one that they like to do for some reason. And two, we got a couple of kids that just don't eat the crust, so it kind of works out perfect. Instead of them eating all the way to the crust, they get the inner pieces. They don't like outside cake; they want inside. So it's like, all right, maybe you got a thing here going.
But you get a
No
good
crust
Detroit.
is criminal.
What's that?
So no crust is criminal. Just I don't know what it is, picking up a thick piece in the middle, and it's just like the toppings are kind of just drooping off because there's no support. Just at that point, eat it with a fork.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's the question. And I was going to literally say that if you can't pick up the pizza because there's a layer of like congealed cheese that are connecting all the toppings to the separate from the bottom dough and then the sauce, I have to eat it with a fork because that's a sandwich now. I mean, like
I'm not opposed to eating some za with a fork either. People look at it sometimes, they're like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "It's too hot, too greasy. I'm not holding it. I'm just gonna eat it with the fork." And they're like, "The fuck?" And I was like, "Yeah, shit."
Almost every time. So sorry. Almost every time I go to Pizza Hut and we dine in, I have to eat it with a fork. It's hot. It's greasy. You're loading it full of hot peppers and Parmesan cheese, and it is just like, it's funny. I'm not going to wait 30 seconds to 2 minutes to eat that pizza. I'm cutting it up. I'm blowing on it like a child, and I'm eating it with a fork.
Well, look at you, Matt. I mean, you drop some cheese and pepperoni in your beard. That is a fucking hefty mess up, man, and a cleanup.
I got asked twice this weekend from people while we were camping. They're like, "Do you get food in your beard a lot?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I had to break it down. I'm like, if I'm eating a sandwich or something and I get the crumbs in it, then I can just do an aggressive shake and it all comes out. If I get a little bit of sauce in there, it's cool. But the worst is egg yolk. The yolk is no joke.
The yolk is no joke.
I put that on a shirt once. It's brutal. It's like glue in there, and yeah, it's
semen.
That's not good. That's not a good time either. Thought we weren't going to talk about that.
Sorry.
Just like Bruno, we don't talk about it. But all right. Well, I mean, semen in a beard. I feel like there's no better way to end this episode. Yeah, let's wrap this up. I know we got a lot going on, so appreciate you, Brandon, Yuban, and anybody for whatever reason still listening to us. This is fun. I'm loving this. So if you guys want, check out some of the other shows on the Beard Laws Studio. If you don't, that's cool too. BeardLawsStudio.com. Check them all out. I made it easy for you. You just press the button on any episode and just watch or listen. And if you don't want to go to it, I don't give a shit. Just have a good day. That's all I want. So
I want you to press my buttons.
Ooh, yeah. Go to You've Been Whacking Off. Buy a candle. Buy a candle for your mom. You don't like your mom? Buy her one of these candles. buy your boss a blue waffle candle. I feel like that is the secret to a promotion. And while you're out surfing the internet, go to Brandon J. McDermott. Buy his book. I heard that if he sells 1,000 books from now to the end of the year, he's going to put out an audiobook.
If I sell 1,000 books at the end of the year, I'll put it on audiobook.
I was Googling actually the other day while I was camping, and then I didn't have like any internet service, and I thought maybe it was a dream, but I thought I wrote some notes and I'm gonna look for it. I thought I found a cool way to speed the process up for that. So, all right, go buy all the books, 1,000 of them, 1,000 books. You get an audiobook from Brandon, and I will donate the first 5.
Ooh,
there we go. Everybody wins. BrandonJMcDermott.com. You've been whackingoff.com. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. We'll see you next week. We'll play the outro song so we can get going. Let's do it. Forgot we had it. It's labeled intro, but now it's the outro.
Buckle up tight. It's gonna be a wild ride. We're diving deep into your fridge where secrets hide. Mysteries of leftovers, the wonders inside. From moldy sandwiches to ancient yogurt jars, we cover the truth.